Skye Bank's full-year pre-tax profits have fallen by 45.5% to 6.51 billion naira in 2011. That fall despite an increase in revenues, and we cross over now to Nigeria, where Uche Okoronkwo is standing by with the bank's CEO, Kehinde Durosinmi-Etti.
That's right. Skye Bank yesterday released its fourth quarter 2011 results, and there are a lot of mixed responses to these results from analysts. Let me just give you a quick run through its numbers. We saw gross earnings up 83.9 billion naira in 2010 to 104.8 billion naira in 2011. Profit before tax up 60%, profit after tax down 50%. Now, management did propose a dividend of payout of 25 kobo, and we did see much change in its stock price during the course of yesterday. Now, with me in the studio to give us a clear picture about what is behind this numbers is CEO of Skye Bank, Kehinde Durosinmi-Etti. Welcome to the studio, sir.
Hello.
Now, a lot of questions from analysts about these results. We saw profit after tax down, but an increase on your loan book by almost 1 billion, while interest income grew by only 10.3%. Can you give us a picture of why these numbers?
Well, we grew our overall balance sheet considerably by about 30%, and we've been able to grow our business by over 30% in all sectors, where the loan growth has grown by more than 30%, treasury activities, deposits by about the same thing. So the overall the bank has made a lot of progress, growing its business significantly, deepening its profits, and we, however, suffered losses within our subsidiaries. Most of it are one-off losses, and we are selling some of our subsidiaries. And then we also had impairments. We had AMCON provisions that we made in the course of the year, which we had to make additional provisions on, which would have accounted for about a third of the additional provisions we made.
Now, we also saw non-interest income grow by about 123%, which is quite a large number. Can you give us a picture of why this huge number?
Well, basically, what we tried to do there was focus more on providing services. You sweat your assets and your customers better by going to them and providing services where you could earn fees and commissions on, and that strategy paid off for us last year, and we're going to continue with that this year.
Now, looking closer at your provisions, we saw they rose from 2.3 billion naira from the third quarter of 2011 to 23.7 billion. Now, curious, how much was this impacted by losses on sale and assets to AMCON? And of course, what will we see in this area in 2012?
Well, about a third was due to AMCON provisions, and then other provisions that came in through subsidiaries and through our loan book. We had to clean up even more than we did from the previous year. Going into 2012, we'll see improvements. I think we've significantly cleaned our loan book. We might still have the odd bits here and there, but we've done a significant clean out. So we should have a much more better performance in terms of sustainable profits to support the anticipated growth in 2012.
Now, the AMCON CEO did come out yesterday saying that the crisis in the banking sector is pretty much over, and we're going to see banks' earnings recovering in the first quarter of this year. I'd like to know your thoughts about this, and of course, where do you see growth coming from the bank, Skye Bank, this year, during the course of the year?
Yes, the crisis in the industry is over. I think banks are geared to make profits, grow the businesses, but that's also dependent on how well the economy performs. And for us, we have maintained a middle course road whereby we look at businesses where we feel we've done well. We've done well in the FMCGs, and that's an area we're going to grow. Fast-moving consumer goods. Oil and gas is a potential for us, and then we are still going to grow on the SME stage. When I say small, medium enterprises, where we have opportunities for businesses that have good transactions and value, and we can support them very well. So we see a lot of opportunity in those areas.
What about the cashless economy initiative? We know that it's something the CBN is really pushing forward, and we know that there'll be gains, but also cost expected from this. So what do you see in that area coming this year?
Well, for us, I think it's a good thing because ultimately we should achieve two things. One, it should bring more cash into banks, and two, it should bring down our cost of operations because we will not be going around moving a lot of cash around anymore. For us, we've always been a top 3 bank in terms of electronic payments. So I think a lot of the other banks are going to play catch up with us. We're retooling and getting better prepared to in anticipation of all these things. So we're very well positioned for it. It will be good for us and it will be good for the industry and the economy as a whole.
Give me a clear picture in the mobile banking area, what we should expect from Skye Bank in 2012.
Mobile banking for us, for now, we're still looking at what we do for now and which we've done for the last few years is have a mobile platform which you can do activities within the Skye Bank network. You need a license to do more than that. We don't have one right now, but we are partnering and working with quite a number of the mobile operators and providing a banking service to them. But aside from that, the mobile banking is another medium that would support the whole process, and I think it will catch on eventually. It will not catch on as fast as in other parts of Africa, like in East Africa where it's done very well. But over time, it will catch on quite significantly and fairly well.
Okay, now banks usually save on cost of handling cash, but may lose gains from cash deposits when the check clearing system comes into effect. We're going to see it improving from T+2 days to T+1 days. So how do you think this is going to affect the operations of Skye Bank?
I don't see that we would lose. I think all that has to do with the velocity of money. We used to have T+5 and T+5 went to T+2, but we've seen business grow, we've seen deposits grow, we've seen all it will do is it will help ease doing business where you can get credit for your cash much quicker. So all that does is money still has to stay somewhere. So it just aids the velocity of money, basically. So it would be good for us where your money moves faster but still sits somewhere and it'll still sit within the bank or the banks.
Now, I do have a question about the recent policy changes we're expecting in 2012 and 2013 from the Central Bank of Nigeria. There was talk about the impact this may have on banks. Do you have any thoughts about the impact this may have on Skye Bank during the course of the year?
Which of the policy changes?
The CBN actually announced that they would be changing the policy. I don't quite remember exactly what the policy changes were, but they did announce that there were going to be a few policy changes which would impact the banks not so positively during the course of 2012 and 2013. None, you don't?
Well, there might be some policies that, with every policy has two sides. So it could favor some people and might not favor just as much. But basically, every policy also has a meaning, what they're trying to achieve by going on to that policy. And we believe that as banks, whatever policy that the central bank brings out, we would support and embrace. But the overall thing is that the policies are not aimed to kill banks. And we would, in our risk framework, we are set up in a way whereby we are set up to even mitigate against policies that could be detrimental to our businesses. So whatever policies there are now, we're prepared for them.